Part 53. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 521. Whether it is the name Odila or the surname Lotbar, they are well-known existences in the evolutionary world. Not to mention appearing at the same time, the impact is enormous. The butler's hand trembled, seeing that the box was about to fall from the sky. As soon as his expression changed, he immediately reached out to fish for it, but it was too late. But just when the box was about to fall to the ground, it was firmly held up by one hand. It is one-handed. The housekeeper paused and raised his head in a daze. Seeing the girl easily put the box on her shoulder, his thoughts stopped for a moment. Be careful, Si said, the inside is a glass container, it will break. Miss Si, I'm sorry, the housekeeper stammered, I'm just too excited, I'm really sorry, let me send it up for you. Excited, Si glanced at the column of the courier information, and sighed, this dog can recognize the characters, so it's hard for you. I'll send her a copybook later. Housekeeper. Who is Go Climb? No need to send it off, I can do it myself. Si turned around, walking very lightly, and quickly entered the hall. The housekeeper was still a little lost. He confirmed that he was not mistaken, and the delivery address on the courier note was indeed sent from the Evolutionary Alliance. Yin Yongzi frowned, seeing the butler was in a daze. Butler. Ah, Miss Yongzi. The butler withdrew his thoughts, and he wiped his sweat. Does Miss Yongzi know that Miss Odile has been in the Evolved Alliance recently? Her. Yin Yongzi shook her head, I don't know, why are you asking that? She has nothing to do with Odile, and she also knows that this black swan is very unique, and she can do it without saying anything, even the young leader Chris can't help it. The housekeeper opened his mouth, Miss C's courier. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Yin Yongzi, who said softly, her courier is hers, I don't want to know, housekeeper, you have to arrange a place for them to live, it's really hard work. The housekeeper wanted to say, this is what he should do, it's not hard. Yin Yongzi had already turned around and left. He also heard that when Si returned to Yin's house in the afternoon, he had 10 guns and 10 rings. The recoil of the gun is so strong that even the evolutionists will hurt their wrists during training. Si casually fired 10 shots without even moving his wrist, so weak. The butler muttered. Yin Yongzi was obviously concerned about Si, but he always felt that there was something wrong with her words, but after thinking about it for a long time, he couldn't come up with it. He scratched his head and took the servants to tidy up the yard. The Yin family's mansion is very large, and the courtyard where Yin Baikan and Yin Yaonian lived at that time still retains its original appearance. And she was assigned to Yin Baikan's room. There are no high-tech products in the room, which is better than tranquility. Auntie, these 3 boxes are for you. Si took out all the medicines that Odilia sent her, these 3 boxes are for Uncle, these 3 boxes are for Yin, and the other box is for you to see who is related to it. Okay, let's send it out. Yin Yaonian was a little surprised, Ching, this is... Nian Yin compared the bottles containing the medicine, and blurted out, isn't this the S-level medicine of the Evolution Alliance? Yes. Ye Zhenmian also looked at it, it's exactly the same, and there is a serial number. The Yin family got 5 boxes, and Si got 10 boxes here. Yin Yongzi has an extra share, but it's just 5 more shares. But Si gave them so much casually, and there were 30 new medicines in 1 box. Nian Yin let out a breath slowly, sister, where did you get it? Have you entered the Evolved Alliance? Hey, am I that violent? Si glanced at him, this was sent to me by my netizen. Nian Yin's eyes were empty, and his voice was full of despair, sister, are you sure this is really a netizen? That's right. Si rubbed his chin, it's just a little violent. When the medicine is out next time, I'll ask her to be gentle. Nian Yin. Even Yin Yaonian, who is used to fighting and killing, said. They began to think silently, what kind of mysterious group Sci-Fucking's netizens are. It seems that there is nothing in this world that these netizens cannot do. These new medicines are really good. Yin Yeonian broke the silence. Yin, you take one every day, it can improve your health. Nian Yin nodded. Since it was given to him by Sister Ching Ching, he will drink it no matter how bad it is. Sci-Fucking didn't stay long at Yin's house, and flew back to Bazhou the next day. Her itinerary has always been uncertain, and the paparazzi can't catch up with her. But for a top class like her, there will be sisters squatting at the airports she frequents. The girl is very lucky to be her own idol. It's just that Sci-Fucking walked like flying, and the girl ran after her while carrying the camera. King Bao. Slow down, King Bao. Sci-Fucking stopped and raised his eyebrows. Even I can't run. Don't be a station lady, we don't need it, go back and exercise, be good. She took out a photo book, patted the girl on the head, put on her sunglasses and left. The girl stood there holding the camera, her brain froze. After an unknown amount of time, she gradually regained her senses, took out her mobile phone tremblingly and took a picture of Sci-Fucking's portrait of her, and sent it to Keahua. I don't want to go back to exercise, but she not only gave me a photo book, but also told me to be good. What should I do? A group of moose below scolded her for showing off, shameless. The girl didn't care at all and happily left with her autographed photo. I want to be your fan. Sang Yanking looked back at the girl who jumped 3 feet high. No wonder being your fan is happy. I have never seen any of your colleagues with a photo book at hand. It's definitely a true fan after you've caught up with the crew. Sci-Fucking lazily said, if you change your heart from heart to heart, this kind of love will last forever. Sang Yanking agreed, you don't know, I've seen several celebrities scold fans behind their backs, it's really ugly. Sooner or later the house will collapse. Sci-Fucking stretched his waist, I'll sleep for a while, call me when I get to the set. Sang Yanking nodded, and took out a pair of earplugs for her. Sci-Fucking put on the blindfold, leaned against the car window and soon fell into a deep sleep. The crew of the female general of the town is extremely confidential. It has already filmed 1/3 of the filming, but apart from all the tidbits released by the official, no one has revealed anything so far. After all, the filming location where the crew is located is not accessible to everyone, and the environment is extremely harsh, entertainment reporters can't avoid it. But this doesn't affect the popularity of the female general of the kingdom before it was aired. Many big VS in the industry have already predicted that Sci-Fucking will become an international Grand Slam queen with this TV series, and enter the film industry. Tong Lu-yun was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. She kept walking back and forth in the same place. Is there really no news? I got some news. The manager nodded and said, it seems that Sci-Fucking recruited 2 amateur actors to play Jang Seung-jin and his childhood sweetheart, and the screenwriter also expanded Jang Seung-jin's roles. Even Tong Lu-yun couldn't help being surprised. Jang Seung-jin? Is she crazy? Who is Jang Seung-jin? That is the young general who has the most fans in history besides Emperor Yin. Jang Seung-jin's girlfriend fans are not even lower than the current top male fans, and there are countless online fans. Arranging an emotional scene for Jang Seung-jin is no different from seeking his own death. The agent said, but it's not sure yet, but some people have indeed seen amateurs join the group, with good looks and temperament. Come out. Tong Lu-yun snorted coldly, if it's true, this drama is waiting to be rushed, if it's fake, it's good to test it out. But Tong Lu-yun knew that even though she had won all the post-viewing awards in China, the sum of them was not as good as her boss fucking's nomination for the 9 Heavens Award. If Sci-Fucking really won the Grand Slam by virtue of the female general of the country, it would be really stepping on her head. Especially since Sang Yanking was still Sci-Fucking's manager, Tong Lu-yun couldn't hold back. The agent understood, I mean the same thing. Let the history fans fight with her group of fans. Tong Lu-yun said casually, Let's just watch the show. The agent quickly contacted the marketing account and began to reveal the plot of The Female General of Zhenguo. Naturally, the marketing account will not let go of this good opportunity to hit the KPI, and they will work together. Soon, the entry hashtag became a hot search. After the netizens clicked in, they also confirmed whether it was the military commander in white in history. Today's breaking news: according to the staff, the female general of the kingdom has expanded Zhang Suanjin's role, and arranged a childhood sweetheart for him. There is a romantic relationship between the two. What is the story? Stay tuned. This short sentence is enough to arouse the anger of history fans who love Zhang Suanjin. Disagree, disagree, disagree. Are you crazy? Don't insult historical figures. Zhang Suanjin is dedicated to Great Xia. Does he have to turn him into an ordinary person? If there is no emotional drama, the current screenwriters don't know how to write scripts. Is it necessary to add that Zhang Suanjin is actually not dead, and retired with her childhood sweetheart? Dog blood. Add a relationship line to Zhang Suanjin. Is the screenwriter crazy, or SI fucking drifted away after being nominated for the Nine Heavens Award? Why, you have met Zhang Suanjin himself, and he told you that he still has someone he likes? After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 522. I'm convinced originally, the crew of The Female General of the Town filmed scenes on the spot, which made me very optimistic about the rigorousness of this crew. It should be different from other shoddy historical dramas. Is it still necessary to take this step? Add emotional drama to Zhang Suanjin. The female general of Zhenguo will definitely attack. Is SI fucking going to bring a newcomer? Can you focus on acting? The condemnation is getting bigger and bigger, and the crew naturally noticed it. There is a lot of opposition online. The screenwriter frowned. Director Liu, should we continue filming? Shooting, of course. Director Liu pushed his glasses. We have found historical evidence. Didn't the professors from Daxia Department of Archaeology also find Zhang Suanjin's tomb in Bizhu? Who said he can't have something he likes? People. The screenwriter said, someone on the internet has the rhythm, accusing Mr. SI of wanting to bring newcomers to the show maliciously, scolding very badly. Hearing this, Sang Yanqing rolled up his sleeves. It's okay, I'll come. She was so happy to have work again. Thank you, Ms. Sang. Director Liu nodded, then hesitated. Where's teacher SI? She said she was going to see someone off. Maybe she went to psychic again, Sang Yanqing said casually, and started to contact Xinting law firm to clean up the online sailors and keyboard warriors. SI fucking rested early today, and was already lying in the game cabin by this time. When she opened her eyes this time, she was in the center of the battlefield. Surrounded by flames and bones everywhere, it is not difficult to imagine how tragic this war was. Shoo! A sharp arrow pierced the air towards the side, and it was about to penetrate her chest. But in the Great Xia dynasty, her body was very weak, and a soldier next to her pulled her to avoid it. Military division, the enemy has been dealt with, the soldier said quickly. You don't have to come here in person, let's go back. SI fucking stabilized his body and grabbed his arm. Where's the marshal? Marshal. The general paused, but actually laughed. I've already met with several other generals. Among the 9 sons of the Zhang family, Zhang Suanjin, the eldest brother, was the last to die in battle. SI fucking muttered, sure enough. History really cannot be changed. Even if she experienced this history personally, she is just a passerby on the sidelines after all. And at this moment, the neighing of the horse sounded. In the north, a black horse was galloping towards the gate of the city. The speed was so fast that the soldiers who were still alive thought it was the enemy attacking again. Until I saw the person on the horse. The soldiers shouted in shock, Miss Su. The eldest lady of the Zhongyonghao mansion, Su Yunchu. Only Zhang Suanjin has the ability to break into the barbarian camp. which means that none of them can help Jiang Suanjin collect the corpse. But a Su Yunchu and a woman actually brought back Jiang Suanjin's body. And they didn't even find out when Su Yunchu rushed over from Yong'an. The horse stopped at the gate of the city, and several soldiers immediately stepped forward to help Su Yunchu up, intending to take Jiang Suanjin in her arms. But she didn't let go, and walked into the tent step by step with heavy steps. The soldiers couldn't even bear to look at it, their eyes were already red. Jiang Suanjin's body was full of wounds, bloody, and he presumably suffered inhuman abuse after his death. They couldn't accept it, so how could Su Yunchu bear it? Sci-fi took the medicine, went into the tent, and was about to pass it to Su Yunchu, but she grabbed her clothes. Sci-fi's expression froze, and he took advantage of the situation to feel her pulse, and his heart sank instantly. Miss Su. Su Yunchu was helpless. If it is in reality, she can be saved completely. But in the Great Xia dynasty, she was helpless. Master, please, cough cough, Su Yunchu coughed, suppressing the fishy sweetness in her throat, and asked softly, Master, please bury me with him, is that okay? Her eyes are soft, with the gentleness of a woman from an aristocratic family. But just now, she was brave enough to enter the enemy's camp one by one, and her aura was not weaker than Jiang Suanjin's. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, it would be hard to believe that there was such a beautiful woman in history. Sci-fi looked at her with a hoarse voice, okay. You cannot share the same quilt in life, but you must share the same acupuncture point in death. Su Yunchu received an affirmative answer, and when she knew that she could stay with the boy she had loved for so many years forever, she finally felt relieved. 2 days of exhausting thought had completely worn down her body. She closed her eyes contentedly, she couldn't breathe, but she still didn't let go of Jiang Suanjin's hand. On the side, the maid knelt down and cried out, Miss. Sci-fi's fingers tightened bit by bit. They are all dragons and phoenixes, and they should have a brighter future. But they all died on the battlefield. This was the bloodiest battle since the Battle of Yanmen. And more soldiers died in battle, as many as 50,000. The veteran is gone, the new will take over. 1 inch of mountains and rivers and 1 inch of blood, 100,000 young men and 100,000 troops. This is Daxia, and the 5 states are immortal. The next morning, Yin Huang rushed over from Zizhu, which was also rife with wars. He didn't close his eyes for several nights, and his eyes were black and blue. Bizhu has been recovered, but the people are gone. The young emperor sat at the desk and picked up a pen. Sci-fi has been by his side for so many years and knows that he has a habit. He remembered the names of all the soldiers, no one knew how he remembered, but he even knew the new generals who had just arrived. Whoever went, he wrote down his name. 1 year, 2 years, until now, it has been 11 years since he embarked on the road of the Southern Conquest and the Northern War, and this book is gradually getting thicker. The names of 300,000 soldiers have been recorded on it, but the names are still increasing, as if there is no end. He silently wrote one name after another without moving his eyes. But endless sadness exudes from his body, like a stormy sea, almost able to swallow everything. After a long period of silence, he faced the notebook where he recorded the death list, and tears finally fell drop by drop. She watched him from the age of 9 to the present, witnessed him grow from a boy to a man, saw him suffer humiliation, saw him bruised, and even saw him suffer. But I never saw him cry. Even though he was crying, he was very calm and didn't make any sound. Sci-fi's hand trembled. How much she wanted to reach out and hug him, and tell him that after 1500 years, everything would be settled. In the future, Great Xia will definitely not be plagued by wars, and young people will not have to die in battle. But she couldn't say anything. Until the last stroke falls. After writing Jiang Suanjin's name, he put down his pen and looked at the beacon fire outside the tent. So far, all the men of the Zhang family have died in battle. In the huge general's mansion, only Mrs. Zhang and Zhang Ziyu, an orphan and widow, were left. He was ashamed of Zhang Haiping. He coughed suddenly, the coughing sound was hollow and shallow, and he couldn't stop for a while. Hearing the sound of coughing, as if thinking of something, Sci-Fi's expression suddenly changed. In the summer calendar 682, Zhang Suanjin died in battle. In 685 of the Xia calendar, Emperor Yin died of tuberculosis. In the middle, there was only a difference of 2 years. Only 2 years. In reality, these 2 years are just over a month. What to do? Could she really watch him cough up blood and die? Sci was in a daze, and suddenly felt a pain like a needle prick in his heart. At this moment, her mood fluctuated violently. At the same time, did it die? The game cabin issued an alarm sound, which meant that the player must leave the virtual game world immediately, otherwise he would suffer a severe mental trauma. Yuzian was still working, and heard the siren immediately. His eyes changed slightly, and he hurried to the next door. Brother 9, Miss Si won't be severely injured in Eternal, right? Feng San followed behind, anxiously asking, if the brainwave link is not disconnected in time, will she become a vegetable? There are too many such examples. The opportunity in Eternal is great, and it can make someone the richest man in Free State overnight. But it also comes with risks. It is a trivial matter to be killed by powerful NPCs and high-level players and never be able to log into the game. Some people die forever. Yuzian didn't move his eyebrows, he said lightly, back off. Feng San retreated immediately. Only then did Yuzian step forward, carefully inspected the game cabin, and pressed a few buttons on it. Boom! The alarm in the game cabin stopped and the hatch opened. Yuzian also saw the whole picture inside, his pupils suddenly constricted. The girl curled up, hugged her knees with her hands, and curled up into a small ball. She closed her eyes tightly, crying unconsciously. His eyes darkened slightly, and he carried her out of the game cabin. Ching ching. Ching ching. A voice rang in her ears, and Sci woke up suddenly. When she saw a familiar face, she was still a little uncertain, so she rubbed her eyes. Ninth brother. Yuzian hummed, and asked in a low voice, what's wrong, crying like this? Although I didn't enter one, I still added more. Ching Ching returned to the first and continued to add. Rush. Every time I write the ancient part is very heavy, alas. Let me say again that I oppose any form of adaptation, copying, and blending. Whether it is Ying Huang or Ching Ching. The three-dimensional entertainment circle should stay away from the two-dimensional characters. I wrote this book against the entertainment circle. Why are there still people rushing to touch porcelain? Smiley face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 523. She did seldom cry, even when she was seriously injured. The few times I cried were when I was drunk and unconscious. She called sister over and over again, crying painfully. Yuzian paused, her voice lowered. Did you dream about your sister? Sci looked at him, as if he hadn't broken free from the endless nightmare. He didn't rush her either, but patted her on the back lightly to calm her down. After a while, she shook her head. No, I dreamed about Emperor Yin. Yuzian's fingers tightened suddenly, but there was no turmoil in her tone, and she continued to ask along the topic, well, what then? I dreamed that he was going to die soon. Sci lowered his head, wiped the tears on his face hastily, and said in a muffled voice, but he is still so young, and he obviously still has many ambitions that have not been realized. The dragon among men, a born emperor, is only 27 years old. But in the era 1500 years ago, none of these high-spirited young people could live long. I fucking murmured, I also dreamed about the Zhang family, and dreamed that everyone in the Zhang family died in battle. The word full family loyalty seems to be the supreme honor, but it is really too painful. She had seen too many deaths. After burying Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu with her own hands, she heard Yin Huang cough again, and knew that he would cough up blood and die within 2 years. This pain reached its peak. Yu Ziyan fell silent. For him, this is not a dream, nor is it a few words in the history books, but a fact that he has personally experienced. History books are too small to record their entire lives. But they don't regret it. Yu Ziyan patted her head. Don't cry, okay? This statement is not false. He may have regrets, and he may not have time to do some things, but he will never regret everything he has done. If he had to do it all over again, he would still do it. I know. I fucking buried his head in the pillow, I'm just a little unwilling. Don't be unwilling, things run for their own reasons. Yu Ziyan bent down and touched her head. Have a good night's sleep, and I'll take you out for a walk tomorrow. The Department of Archaeology of Xia University is investigating Zhang Suanjin's tomb. I fucking's fox eyes lit up. Go. I'm going to sleep now. Yeah. Yu Ziyan got up. Go to sleep. He waited for her breathing to stabilize before closing the door and backing out. Yu Ziyan looked at the stars and moon on the Milky Way, his eyes gradually darkened. If you enter the holographic game in sleep mode, you can achieve the purpose of rest, and you will not be physically and mentally exhausted after getting up. But in any case, it will never be a dream. His eyelashes droop. But her sadness was not fake, it made him feel that she really saw his death. But when she said she dreamed of him, his heart was completely filled with joy. It turns out that if you like someone, your emotions will be affected. Feng San glanced at it from a distance, a little confused. Brother Ju seems to be in a good mood. Zijiang said, of course it's because of Miss Si, what do you know? Feng San, don't tell me you understand. They are all single dogs, who is more noble than whom? The night was getting deeper, and the wind moved suddenly. In the dark night, someone appeared quietly. You haven't been back to Liberty Island for a long time, won't you go back to suppress those restless people? Don't worry about it. Yu Ziyan's expression didn't fluctuate at all. Your future is long, how is it going? These words made Huo Yangxing's face darken. His voice was squeezed out between his teeth. I have never seen such a scumbag who lifts up her pants and refuses to recognize anyone. Yu Ziyan was non-committal, and said lightly, she is a spiritual evolutionist, and she may have deleted her own memory. Huo Yangxing frowned. Why? Spirit evolutionists are very strong, but correspondingly, they will cause a lot of negative reactions. There used to be an evolutionary of the spiritual department in Freedom Island who had a mental breakdown, instantly causing 384 evolutionaries in that area to die on the spot. It's up to you to ask yourself. Ask me? I couldn't move at the time, I couldn't do anything. Oh, Yu Ziyan slightly raised her eyebrows, maybe it's your technique that makes her very dissatisfied. Huo Yangxing. After a while, he gritted his teeth, can you also say such a thing? It was completely different from the image of Yu Ziyan in his memory. Learn and learn, you can do everything. Yu Ziyan turned around, why don't you go back to Liberty Island? The Huo family is not in a hurry. I want to keep an eye on her. Huo Yangxing said coldly, she must be from Liberty Island. Whenever she returns, I will return. Yu Ziyan nodded slightly, then I will continue to look forward to your future. The next day, morning. Si fucking got up on time, and she drank the medicine in the middle of the night, and her head didn't hurt. Yu Ziyan handed her a bag of steamed buns. Si fucking took a bite, curious, where did they detect? She applied for the Department of Archaeology of Sia University because she could go to the tomb. The main tomb, Uzian said, "I'm looking for a way to get in." "It's hard to find, isn't it?" "Well, it's been spinning around in there for a week." The car soon arrived at the detection site of the Sia University archaeological team. The surrounding area was surrounded and strictly guarded by guards. Uzian took out his ID and brought Si in. The tomb was damp and cold, but very clean. Si just walked this path in the game last night. To her, it was only a few hours, but this tomb has been buried for 1,500 years. Sure enough, the archaeological team was still circling around the entrance of the main tomb. Professors Si pointed to a stone. "Try this way." This sentence made the archaeological team stop abruptly, a little surprised. Several professors had heard of Si name from the principal of Sia University, and knew that she had applied to the Department of Archaeology. This year's Department of Archaeology only recruited 9 students, and the number of students in the Department of Archaeology has always been smaller than that of teachers. An old professor stepped forward first, and according to Si instructions, pressed down on the stone. Kaka. The sound of stones turning sounded, and the main tomb finally appeared in front of everyone. The archaeological team went in quickly. "This tomb is very ingeniously arranged," the old professor said. "The person who arranged the tomb must be very proficient in ventilation. I guess it was the G family who arranged the tomb." Uzian's eyes gradually darkened. At that time, Ji's family was fighting against foreign enemies in Dongzhou, and Ji Chunyuan was by his side, and had never been to Bizhu when Zhang Suanjin died. After all preparations were made, the coffin was opened. When it was opened, everyone was shocked. The old professor even took a deep breath. "It's been 1,500 years, and the corpse is still so well preserved, without any sign of corruption." Looking at the familiar face in the coffin, Si eyes became heavy again. At that time, she used local materials, and she could only protect the bodies of Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu from being corroded. But she couldn't save them. "Only the tomb of Emperor Yin is left." The old professor looked excited. "If you can find His Majesty's tomb, it will be a new progress in the Department of Archaeology in Daxia." "It's difficult." Another professor shook his head. "There are many strange people around His Majesty. We definitely don't want him to be disturbed by future generations. Unless he is born in the G family, we won't be able to find him." Uzian sighed softly upon hearing this. Even he himself does not know where his tomb is. He died on the way to battle and asked those around him to scatter his ashes into the sea. There will be a lot of construction work in the tomb, which will waste people's money. After death, there is a pile of loess, and he doesn't need such extraneous things. I contacted the people of the Tiandameng and asked them to send all the historical materials related to Zhang Suanjin as soon as possible." The old professor sighed again and again. "I didn't expect the commander in white to have a lover. Zhang Suanjin's achievements are so outstanding that even historians think that he has no love for children at all." "Maybe Yin Huang has it too," the assistant said casually. "Then it will really make a big splash in Daxia." "No," Si blurted out, "he can only be with his world. No one can stop him from conquering the world." "Professors. Si. Too bad, the society is dead." Uzian turned her head slightly, and suddenly smiled. "I was thinking, you are similar to those history fans on the internet." Si. Can you pretend you didn't hear?" "Oh," he raised his eyebrows, "what will the girl exchange for?" "Why are you like this?" Si grabbed a few stalks of dogtail grass and threw them towards him. She whispered, okay, I admit it, I am Yin Wang's Du Wei." As soon as she finished speaking, her stomach growled. Uzian sighed and pulled her up. "Go and eat." The news that Zhang Suanjin's tomb was opened spread on the internet. The archaeological team of Sia University found Zhang Suanjin's tomb last year, and it has already attracted the attention of many netizens. After a year, the catacombs were finally opened, much to the excitement of history fans. Jang Suanjin's tomb is opened, there will definitely be more historical materials, look forward to it. I just watched how Sci-fi made it up. Jang Suanjin was clearly dedicated to Xia, so he insisted on making up a confidant for him. Where did the woman come from? It would affect Jang Suanjin's speed of drawing his sword. It's better not to watch the made-up historical dramas like The Female General of the Town, and watch the real history. Reporters from Daxia TV were also reporting ahead, and many people were watching the live broadcast. The discovery of Jang Suanjin's tomb is indeed a great joy. Several professors from the Department of Archaeology of Arsia University have been investigating Jang Suanjin's tomb in Bizhu for many years, and now they have finally successfully opened the main cave. The female reporter looked excited. This is the first time Jang Suanjin's tomb has been published. What is surprising is that two people were buried together in the tomb, one of whom was a woman whose identity is being investigated. But according to valid clues, the two should be childhood sweethearts who grew up together. It is speculated that the woman is also the queen. Historians have rushed to the scene. What will happen next? Please continue to pay attention to Daxia TV's report. We will see you later. Did Sci-fi time travel? Good morning, please give me a monthly ticket. Who will recognize who first this time? QWQ. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 524. Jang Suanjin's tomb was discovered last year. After the discovery, Xiata and the Tiandameng teamed up to surround the tomb, and every step of the survey was very careful, for fear of destroying the cemetery. Even the archaeological team did not expect that Jang Suanjin was buried with a woman. I don't even know what method was used when the tomb was built to make the two corpses immortal for thousands of years, and they still maintain the youthful appearance of the past. Netizens were even more shocked. Wait, so Jang Suanjin really has a childhood sweetheart? Pupil earthquake. Birth is different, death is the same appointment, this meaning is too great. I've already imagined a sadomasochistic relationship, so I'll cry for a while. Sci-fi didn't travel through time. I think she studied the history books carefully and discovered something that historians haven't studied deeply. That's why she chose to expand the role of Jang Suanjin. She is really dedicated, and I hope there will be more internal entertainment such an actor. Jang Suanjin's tomb is of great importance, and his historical materials are also very precious. Gu Huiyan personally transported them to Bizhu. Although his real purpose was to find an excuse to visit Sci-fi's class. After an afternoon of hard work, the archaeological team and historians have determined the identity of the woman in the tomb. The eldest lady of the Su family in Honggyeonghao's mansion. Originally, Su Yunchu didn't have her name left behind, but when Sci-fi buried the two of them, she specially carved her name on the wall. A heroine should not be forgotten. After learning that it was Sci-fi who finally led the archaeological team to successfully open Jang Suanjin's main tomb, Gu Huiyan repeatedly sighed, "Teacher, is there anything in this world that you don't know how to do?" Sci-fi thought for a while, "Teacher, do you want to eat the food I cooked?" Gu Huiyan was about to nod subconsciously, but before he could do this, he saw Sci-fi's assistant and manager standing up with a whoosh and took a big step back. Gu Huiyan, let's order takeaway. He was afraid that if he ate it, he would die. Sci-fi felt a little regretful, and after collecting praises with Gu Huiyan, he changed to a grilled fish. The script of the TV series The Female Generals of the Town is a major female lead drama. Although there are many female characters, most of the important roles are from Ms. Jiang's age group, and there are no stars of the younger generation. So when the crew officially announced the role of Su Yunchu, the entertainment circle was boiling. Many Xiahua began to send a signal of cooperation to the crew, wanting to play the role of Su Yunchu. But because Sci-fi had booked Ji Kinjao in advance, the road guide asked the coordinator to push them all away. But even if there was no Jikinjeo, the road guide would not have taken a liking to these little flowers who had volunteered to recommend themselves. Ching ching, why don't you find a professional actor to act? Jikinjeo hesitated. This drama means a lot to you, I'm afraid I will hold you back. How come? If I really let them act, it will be a hindrance. What is the most important thing for a costume drama actor? It's manners. Sci-fi tilted his head. They can't even walk well, staggering, unsteady shoulders, let alone wielding knives and sticks. This drama is a historical drama, so we have to let it go. Teacher Si is right. Director Lu sighed. At first, I thought that if the supporting roles were not good enough, I would use special effects to modify them later. Fortunately, Teacher Si knows a lot of people, and all of them are good at fighting. When Suyunchu's information was dug up by historians, the screenwriter enriched the plot based on these information. She added a new episode of Zhang Suanjin and Suyunchu's martial arts competition. He was also worried that Ji Qinjiao and Zhang Shuiyan would not be able to get a move if they confronted each other, but he did not expect that Ji Qinjiao would not lose the slightest bit. If he hadn't called to stop, the two of them could fight for a day and a night. Lu Gui has a new sorrow. Because everyone in the crew would fight, he had to tell them to fight slowly every time, otherwise the cameras would not be able to catch them. Ji Qinjiao was also relieved, showing a very shallow smile. Ching ching, I like this character very much, and I will play her well. Yes, I fucking lazily said, and I also know what their plans are. They don't really want to shoot, one is to gain popularity, and the other is to suck the blood of historical figures. Road Guide agrees, yes, there are a few big marketing players, I definitely won't want them. Several people were talking, when the door was pushed open, and the assistant director ran in panting. Teacher Si, Director Lu, what a happy event, the deputy director said with a surprised expression. Guess what the archaeological team found in Zhang Suanjin's tomb? The real work of Emperor Yin. As soon as these words came out, the road guide suddenly stood up, and couldn't help but lose his voice. The real work of Emperor Yin. Historians speculate that Yin Huang's literary attainments are definitely not low. It's just that he has been fighting abroad for many years, leaving very few calligraphy. This is the first time in history that the archaeological team has found a complete authentic Yin Huang, which is of great significance. Even Si fucking was surprised. This is a photo I just sent, the assistant director handed over the phone. The words are really beautiful, as expected of His Majesty. Si fucking's eyes were fixed, and he said in a low voice, it was indeed written by him. Everyone was immersed in joy, and no one noticed the difference in her words. Okay, Guide Lu beamed with joy, it really is a big discovery. He is a history buff, otherwise he would not have filed a case to shoot the female general of the town, even if he waited 5 or 6 years. But it was worth the wait until Si fucking. Technology is constantly developing, but only the great Xia civilization has lasted for 5,000 years. This is something from the ancestors and cannot be lost. Si fucking understood what Yin Huang wrote from these pictures. He told the story of Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu from the perspective of a narrator, and also prayed for them. Presumably, before the tomb was completely closed, Emperor Yin went in again to worship and put this poem in. Si fucking was startled. He is such a person. He has the righteousness of the family and the country on his shoulders, as well as the breeze and the bright moon. No matter how much history books describe him, it is still a string of cold words after all. Oh, I've sued a lot of black fans. Sang Yanking was in a good mood, and she patted Si fucking's shoulder. You haven't opened for a long time, go to Weibo to interact with your fans. Si Fu returned to his senses, here we come. It just so happened that Xia University sent a few more professors to Bizhu yesterday, and they also sent her an admission letter by the way. This is the first admission notice issued by Xia University this year. At V, Sister Sang called me for business, post the admission notice. The muses rushed over excitedly, and when they saw the majors on the admission notice, they all burst open. Archaeology, as expected of you, Sci-fucking. I imagine the scene of my wife squatting in the soil with a small hammer and starting to knock the picture is so beautiful that I am intoxicated. Archaeology is just archaeology, it's better than quitting the circle. In fact, quitting the circle is also acceptable, as long as you post photos regularly. Netizens. Mooses are humble enough. The staff of Xia University commented on this Weibo. At V, thanks to classmate SI for his contribution to the archaeological cause in advance this time, classmate SI contributed a lot to opening the main tomb of the commander in white. With the factual basis, the muses fought back with great confidence. Come on, where are those people who say your sister is gone? I also want to ask why Zhang Suanjing can't have emotional scenes. The female general of the town follows the history very much, and the sunspots don't worry about whether they will jump or not. I really doubt that SI fucking has crossed over, otherwise, how could she predict the future? She is obviously a koi, she can save herself from danger at any time, so please give me a bow. Tong Lu Yun's expectation that the female general of the town would not be boycotted at all. Instead, because Zhang Suanjin's tomb was opened, the female general of the town became popular for no reason. Even historians have begun to pay attention to this drama, and the Daxia Museum even forwarded the new scenery photos released by the crew. She was so angry that she smashed the phone. It's really good luck that SI fucking happened to any good thing. As for the time travel guessed by netizens, how could there be such a miraculous thing in this world? Tong Lu Yun said with a cold face, keep looking, I don't believe she really doesn't have black spots. How can someone who is in the entertainment industry still be able to get out of the silt without getting stained? Sooner or later, she got the handle on SI fucking, causing SI fucking to completely collapse the house. The other side. Yin family. In the end, only Yin Yaonian stayed in the Yin family, but he didn't live long. He personally sent Ye Zhenmian and Nian Yian to Siju City. In the entire Great Xia Empire, this is the safest place. The reason why Yin Yaonian stayed in the Yin family was also because MRS Yin was there. He needs to take back his power step by step and restore MRS Yin's status. Early in the morning, Yin Yaonian accepted several tasks on the internal website of the Evolved Alliance. With his S-level strength, he finished it quickly and got honor points. At noon, Yin Qiashi came to deliver the meal. Uncle Qiashi, it's hard work for you to be with mother all these years. Yin Yaonian smiled slightly, you take these medicines, and you take them with mother. If you don't have enough, come to me. Master, you are too polite. Yin Qiashi took it, I don't need it, I will send it to the old lady. He went out with the medicine, and just entered the hall when he met Yin Yongzi, who came back with the great elder. Yin Qiashi bowed briefly to the two of them, and then went to find MRS Yin. Wait, Yin Yongzi said with a gentle voice, Grandpa Qiashi, what are you talking about? The great elder looked over and paused, where did you get the medicine? I remember that you didn't get your share of the medicine this time. Not only the Yin family, but also the Lotbar family and the Kuchimu family complained this time, because the medicine approved was too little, and it was not enough. Even MRS Yin only received 3 medicines for a transcendent grade. How could Yin Qiashi have 2 boxes here? It can't be stolen, right? Yin Qiashi was taken aback. Elder, what did you say? Is this the new medicine? You don't know, the great elder frowned even tighter, his eyes sharpened, you didn't lie. Ah, Yin Qiashi was even more puzzled, I don't know, it was given to me by young master Yao Nian. He asked me to take 2 boxes at random. If the old lady doesn't have enough, I can ask for more. Go to Station B for a walk. The actors in the past really had good looks, acting skills, and demeanor at the same time. How did they become like this now that they even use special effects for holding swords and riding horses? Contemplation.jpg. Saw a comment, very pertinent. The previous director, you can learn if you don't know how to learn. If you don't learn, get out and change people. Now the director, I don't know how to use doubles, I can't use special effects, it's okay. Zhonyuan today, everyone go home early. 23,333. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 525. Yinqiashi also knew that not many of the new medicines developed by the Evolved Alliance were distributed to the Yin family. After the tragedy of the Yin family, although Mrs. Yin was not held accountable, her status was no longer what it used to be, and naturally she did not have the right to get more medicine. But even Yin Yongzi only got half a box, and Master Yao Nian gave him 2 boxes, let him ask for more if he didn't have enough. Yinqiashi was also dumbfounded. Could it be that Master Yao Nian has entered the Evolved Alliance and intercepted the medicine? The hall fell silent. The great elder raised his head abruptly. The smile on the corner of Yin Yongzi's mouth froze. You said it was given to you by Uncle Yao Nian. Yes, Yinqiashi was very sure, it's impossible for me to go to the Evolved Alliance to get it. This statement is not false. Yinqiashi is only a B-level evolutionary, and he can't even enter the door of the Evolutionary Alliance. Yin Yongzi frowned tightly, and his heart became numb. Not long after Yin Yaonian came back, he didn't have any meritorious service in the Evolved Alliance, and he definitely wouldn't have his share of medicine like her. Taking a step back, even Chris, the young leader, only has 3 boxes of medicine. This medicine is very precious, and she also distributed some to others, but they were all 1 or 2. How could someone be so generous and give a box directly? Nonsense, the great elder yelled angrily, I see that you stole it. Hand it over immediately. His momentum exploded, and he headed towards Yinqiashi. Yinqiashi's face paled instantly, and the suppression of his blood made him kneel down uncontrollably. But at the moment when his knees were about to be pressed to the ground, one hand supported his shoulders and helped him up again. At the same time, the repression of blood disappeared. A cold voice sounded, Grand Elder, what do you want to do? The great elder's expression changed abruptly. Yin Qiu was really frightened. Yao, young Master Yao Nian. Yin Yaonian looked at the elder indifferently. Yes, I gave it to you. What's your opinion? Impossible. Cold sweat broke out on the great elder's forehead, and he was stern. You didn't even enter the Evolved Alliance, where did you get these medicines? You must have used some despicable means. Yin Yaonian didn't want to say anything to him, but said coldly, you can do whatever you want, don't touch my family, otherwise, I'll let you try what it's like not to be able to breathe. His eyes were cold, and his murderous intent was clearly visible. The great elder trembled and couldn't help but take a few steps back. Let's go. Yin Yaonian supported Yinqiashi, let's go see mother together. The two left like this, and no one dared to stop them. Of course the great elder did not dare to confront Yin Yaonian face to face. It can be said that no one in the entire Yin family dared, including a few ancestors who didn't care about world affairs. Yin Yongzi frowned again. Grandpa, he can't have medicine. Grandpa knows the great elder's face was ugly, he is very powerful, we can't confront him head on. Yun 11, you know a lot of people in the Evolved Alliance, you go and ask what's going on. Yin Yaonian can do things well in the Yin family, but he doesn't have that capital in the Evolved Alliance. Yin Yongzi nodded, then suddenly asked, Grandpa, is Miss Si still filming? Is it not too good? The Yin family went to the entertainment industry. No matter how high the achievement is, so what? The great elder turned cold, I will ask the Supreme Elder for instructions on this matter. Now that she has returned to the Yin family, of course she cannot be willful. Yin Yongzi smiled, and obediently stopped talking. North State. Under the full dispatch of the archaeological team, Zhang Suanjin's tomb has been well protected. Because the professors couldn't deduce what method the ancients used to keep Zhang Suanjin's body from decaying, they finally chose to close the main tomb and let the lovers continue to sleep. Outside, the sky is high and the sun is bright, and the hot wind hits. But 1,500 years ago, this place was still a wasteland full of yellow sand. Brother Zhang, Miss Su, now we also have aircraft carrier missiles, Sci-fi said in a low voice. There is no need to use people as bombs anymore. No one dares to invade this land, so you can rest assured. She took the incense and bowed 3 times to the tombs of Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu. After inserting the incense into the censer, she stood quietly for a while before returning to the set. Today's supplementary filming scene was after Zhang Suanjin died in battle. Only Mrs. Zhang and Zhang Zheyu, an orphan and widow, were left in the Zhang family. Emperor Yin returned to Yong'an and summoned Zhang Zheyu. At this time, Zhang Zheyu was only 13 years old. This was the first time she proposed to wear armor and lead the Zhang family to continue to guard Bizhu, which shocked the officials. Even Heiji Chunyuan was blocking her, telling her that prophecy again. If even she had to go to the battlefield, the Zhang family would really have no descendants. Zhang Zheyu matured earlier than his peers and needed extremely high acting skills. The road guide also worried that he could not find an actor who could play Zhang Zheyu in this period. In the end, to his great shock, Sci-fi's assistant casually put on some makeup on her face, which made her face look younger by 5 or 6 years. Coupled with Sci-fi's acting skills, a vivid 13-year-old girl appeared. Director Lu couldn't help taking a deep breath. Mr. S.I., your assistant is a professional makeup artist, right? S.I. paused, raised his eyebrows. Yes, professionally. Professional makeup artist. Come on, everyone, get ready, let's start. The road guide held a loudspeaker. Every group is in place. S.I. patted Yu Xian's chest in turn. Ninth brother, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous, Yu Xian hummed. You will take me. Because Yin Huang won't appear on camera, he didn't change into a costume, he was still in a dark gray suit. He sat down slowly on the dragon chair. Just such an action directly brought the people present thousands of years ago. After listening to Zhang Zheyu's request, he didn't speak immediately, but sat quietly. Lu Guide held his breath, and his heart began to beat faster. Such an image of not being angry and self-imposing coincides with Yin Huang. Are you going to Bizhu? Your father and elder brother asked Gu to take good care of you, and when you reach the age of G, they will marry in a splendid manner. After a long while, he lowered his eyes, as if helpless. How do you ask Gu to be with them? Confession. Father is gone, brother is going, brother is gone, I am going. Her voice was firm. This is the belief of my Zhang family. What about women? Women are better than men. His eyes changed instantly, and his emotions were mixed. Afterwards, he put the memorial aside, and said in a calm voice, we will discuss this matter later. You are still young, so I do not agree. But at that time, Zhang Zheyu did not expect that the next person to go would be Yin Huang. She said suddenly, Your Majesty, but... At this moment, he also looked towards her. The young emperor's eyes were gentle and powerful, but what? For a moment, Si almost thought that she was still talking to Yin Huang face to face during the Great Xia dynasty. She met his eyes and froze in place. Card. The road guide shouted angrily. Hearing Lu Gui's sound card, the camera crew and others couldn't help being taken aback. NG is a common thing in filming, but it is very abnormal when it comes to Si. No matter how difficult the scene is, she can pass it by one. Especially in a fight scene filmed a few days ago, Zhang Zheyu, played by Si, retreated from the world of hundreds of people, rode his horse and whipped away, and even his armor was not stained with blood. The actors of these 100 people are elites specially transferred by Zhang Shuiyan from the Qinjun League. In such a big scene, Sci-fi didn't make any mistakes. Today is just a literary play, why is it still NG? The others didn't know what happened, but the monitoring screen on the road guide side could clearly see that when the number 5 machine was filming Sci-fi, she was actually distracted, showing emotions that Zhang Ziya shouldn't have. Yu Ziyan got up, came down from the steps, stretched out a hand to help her up, and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" "Sorry," Sci-fi exhaled slowly, "I was distracted just now, let's do it again." She emptied all other thoughts from her mind, and only acted seriously. This time the shooting went well. The live sound recording work has also been completed, and all actors use the original sound. From the beginning to the end, Emperor Yin played by Yu Ziyan did not show his face, but only used his voice. But from this voice, a young emperor can be imagined from afar. He has the world in mind and is ambitious. Director Lu's eyes lit up all of a sudden, and he immediately stepped forward with the script. "Mr. Yu, are you interested in entering the entertainment industry? With such a pinnacle of acting skills, it would be a loss not to enter the entertainment industry." "Sorry," Yu Ziyan smiled faintly, "my acting skills vary from person to person." The screenwriter reminded Director Lu, "Mr. Yu means that he will act only if the person acting opposite him is Mr. Si." The road guide is a little regretful. He thought for a while, then slapped his hands. "Let's give the role of Emperor Yin a little bit of drama." The screenwriter also meant this, but she was very sad. "I don't think I am worthy to write lines for your majesty." "It's okay," Director Lu beamed, "Mr. Si is here, and Mr. Yu is here. Let them improvise." Feng San, who heard the sentence, if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have imagined that Brother Ju would one day appear in Miss C's TV series In Friendship. Ninth brother Si called out. Yu Ziyan turned around. "Huh. My vision is indeed not wrong." Si raised his eyebrows. "You are very experienced in playing the emperor." Yu Ziyan said lightly, "There are many people in charge, so naturally they have similar experiences." Si tilted his head and looked at Feng San and 11 Zhang. Feng San and 11 Zhang froze, feeling a little ashamed. That's how they acted as guards, embarrassing Brother Ju. In ancient times, they would have been beheaded. Si shrugged, and went to the road guide to watch the film he just took. After watching it 3 times in a row, she left the film crew, found a place with a good signal, and contacted Yuan Mingqi, who had just come out of the Holy Light Judgment office. "Fifth senior brother, let me ask you something." Si paused, and finally asked, "Rebirth has happened to me, so is it possible for someone to be reborn after 1,000 years? Good morning. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 526. Just now, when she was playing with Yu Ziyan, she saw the ambitious young emperor through him. When he looked at her, he brought her back to the great Xia dynasty in an instant, and she stood beside him as a military advisor, watching him guide the country and fight in all directions. Is it really just the power of acting? It is true that there are talented actors, and she is herself. But when she was acting for the first time, she couldn't reach this level. And when a certain thought popped up, I couldn't control it anymore. It's impossible in theory, and it's even more impossible in practice. Even for us who specialize in cultivating souls, the power of souls has dissipated after such a long time." Yuan Mingqi was a little surprised, but he still patiently explained, "The highest state of onmyoji, that is to say, the soul can exist without the body, let alone whether anyone can reach the state. Even if someone can achieve it, it is absolutely impossible to exist for so long." After a pause, he laughed, Junior sister, although you are not good at other yin-yang and five-element techniques except fighting, you also understand the theory. Why do you suddenly ask? Just asking. Si fucking exhaled slowly, and murmured, that's right, it's even more absurd than me being alive. Maybe the ancient times left her with too many regrets, she couldn't make up for it, she could only make up for it in this world. She pressed her temple, and asked again, fifth senior brother, you were not injured in the Holy Light Tribunal, were you? No. Yuan Mingqi looked indifferent. They have no evidence to prove that the demise of the Fujiyama family is related to me. That's good. Si fucking said, I'll ask fourth senior brother to bring you some medicine when I return to Liberty Island, just in case you need it in the future. Hearing this sentence, Yuan Mingqi squinted his eyes, and he said with a half smile, little junior sister, you are a bit too partial. Why do you dare to contact the fourth child directly instead of me? Si fucking said, fifth senior brother, what are you talking about? I have always been a good person who is exposed to both rain and dew. The rain and the dew are even. Yuan Mingqi's smile deepened, and his tone was oppressive. The fourth child is not like the third child. He judges people with his eyes. If you didn't know him thoroughly, how would he recognize you? Junior sister, we need to talk about it. Si fucking, I was thinking that actually I should communicate more with senior brother 6. Talking to smart people is exhausting. It was the stupid beauty like sixth senior brother who could only make money that won her heart. The sixth, Yuan Mingqi snorted lightly, why don't the fourth take him to the Intercontinental Research Institute to have a look at his brain? Si fucking called to stop in time, fifth senior brother, are you not afraid that if his IQ rises, he won't give us money? Yuan Mingqi. He said slowly, then let him continue to be stupid. When the call is over, Yuan Mingqi will delete the call history. He couldn't communicate with the outside world in the Holy Light Tribunal, and he had a lot of backlogs. There is a rare red dot in the top column. Yuan Mingqi raised his eyebrows and clicked in. Deadwood Minjiao, this dungeon is unbeatable. Very indifferent and calm tone, one can imagine a frosty woman without any emotion. Yuan Mingqi, well, I'm online. Under the watchful eyes of several Holy Light Judgment guards following him, he entered an internet cafe openly, turned on the computer, and logged into Oracle. The guards saw all this in their eyes and looked at each other in blank dismay. As soon as Yuan Mingqi came out, the first thing he did was to play games. It seems that you are still taking a sister? The world is really broken. The crew of the female general of the town. Facts have proved that only Si fucking can play rivalry with Yu Xian. The screenwriter tried to add a scene between Yin Huang and several courtiers. But when Yu Xian glanced over, according to the old actors who played the courtiers, their minds were blank at the time, and they couldn't remember what the lines were. If you can't catch one look, the scene is completely over. The screenwriter can only regret to delete this plot. Mr. Si, Mr. Yu is definitely a talented actor. Director Liu was still very distressed. Well, the masters are among the people, but there are too few people who can play against Mr. Yu. Mr. Si, you are more able to restrain your aura. To be more precise, the two gave him different feelings. Si fucking was the actor, and Yu Xian was the person. Si fucking blinked, he can't enter the entertainment circle, what if he steals my job? She got up, took a box of snacks, walked towards the man under the umbrella unhurriedly, and sat down opposite him. Here, eat some, replenish energy. The girl held her chin, her fox eyes were as bright as stars, as if there were fireworks beating, plucking her heartstrings bit by bit. Yu Xian's eyelashes drooped, and her voice was slow, do you have nothing to do to be courteous? There is no rape or steal. Si fucking looked serious, you don't like sweets, but I went to the town to buy them specially. If you don't eat them, I will share them with others. Her hand had already held the box again, but when she was about to lift it, it was held down by another hand. His hands are also very beautiful, with slender fingers, white fingertips, distinct joints, and are as clear as jade. There is no reason to take back the things that are sent out. Uzion smiled slightly, girl can't be unreasonable. He spoke with an ancient rhyme, but it was not abrupt at all, but added a bit of extravagance and coquettishness. Si fucking rubbed his ears, it's clear that you are maliciously speculating on me. He admitted his mistake quickly, without the slightest hesitation, it's my fault. Facing such a face, Si fucking couldn't get angry at all. She looked at his hand and said suddenly, Brother 9, I beg you something. Uzion paused and turned her head. Those fox eyes are brighter, and his appearance can be clearly seen in the dark pupils. He has never been able to refuse her eyes like this. After sighing slightly in her heart, Uzion still responded, yes. Shooting Zhejianjiao's new commercial with me, okay. Si fucking put his hands together, you don't need to show your face, your hands and body are enough. There is an international fashion show next month, at Glenell. It is also the best opportunity for Zhejianjiao to officially enter the international market, and it is also an excellent stage for the Great Xia Empire to carry forward its national style. For this reason, she rejected the work that Gu Wenzi gave her, and devoted herself to designing several sets of Xiafeng clothing, both for men and women. Originally, Si fucking wanted to save money and she went on stage as a model herself, but was persuaded in time. The reason is that 11 Jianjiao placed a few advertisements abroad, because her appearance is too high, so the customer's attention is not on the clothes at all. Models are clothes for people, and Si fucking is clothes for people. She could only reluctantly spend money to hire a few models. You can only save money on advertising. Okay, Uzion twitched his brows slightly, have you figured out what the reward will be for me? Si fucking was vigilant, do you want money? No money, remember first. Uzion picked up a snack and smiled, remember how much you owe, and you will pay it back later. Only then did Si fucking's eyebrows loosen, no problem. It doesn't matter if you don't rob her of money. At the same time, thousands of miles away from Bizhu, the site of evolution, the ground was covered with fragments of machinery and a few puddles of blood. Apparently there was a heated battle going on here. Xiaoyu let out a breath slowly, wiped off the blood from the corner of his lips, his eyes were a bit cold. Leaning against the wall, he pulled out the sharp blade inserted into his body expressionlessly, bit the bandage with his teeth, and wrapped it around his tough and powerful chest bit by bit. The blood soaked the bandage in an instant, and it was still flowing out, which was shocking. Xiaoyu's breathing was almost panting, but he controlled it so that he didn't make a sound, and his whole body was hidden in the darkness. There are voices crisscrossing the street. What about people? Can this run? His fighting power is really strong, and he can even destroy machines. These machines are weapons specially researched by the Intercontinental Research Institute to deal with evolutionists. Although what they found were defective products, it was enough to deal with ordinary evolvers. I didn't expect Xiaoyu to tear it down directly. It smells like blood. He must have been seriously injured. Chase him. You won't run very far. You must bring him back to Miss. Several evolutionaries looked at each other and left after looking for the smell of blood. In the corner, Xiaoyu looked indifferent, without any warmth. He closed his eyes, feeling the gradually rampant power in his body, and the veins on his arms stood out. As the night deepened, footsteps sounded. Xiaoyu was still conscious, but he couldn't move and could only hear voices. There are quite a few people, at least 5 or more. On the street. Miss, this is a piece of the machine. The chief guard's expression changed. Could it be that people from the Vengeance organization have infiltrated it? We have to get out of here quickly. Yin Yongzi is not a fighting evolutionary. If he meets a revenge organization, it will be terrible. As the first person to heal the evolutionary, Yin Yongzi is on the assassination list of the revenge organization. No, Yin Yongzi shook his head, This is a defective product. It can be used against A-level evolutionists at most. The Revenge Organization will not use it. What's more, it is very close to the Evolution Alliance. They dare not. It should be just one of the other evolutionists. It's just a battle between them. The chief guard breathed a sigh of relief, and his footsteps stopped suddenly. "Miss, there is someone over there." He was surprised. It seems that the power in the body has rioted, and if he is not treated in time, his life may be in jeopardy. "Do you want to save him?" Judging from the magnitude of the riot, it should be a high-level evolutionary above B level. No wonder the defective machine can be disassembled like this. Yin Yongzi turned her head and took a look. Her eyes were fixed. She only felt that Xiaoyu's appearance was somewhat familiar. Although his face was blood-stained, his eyebrows and eyes were exquisite and outstanding. But it definitely does not belong to the high-level members of the Evolved Alliance, or the three major families. She was rushing to the Evolutionary Alliance to inquire about new medicines. How could she have the time to save someone she didn't know? What's more, even if it's just a defective machine, the family that can be dispatched is definitely not small. Naturally, she didn't need to go against other families for someone she didn't know. Yin Yongzi said lightly, "Let's go." Once the seeds of doubt are planted, they are not so easily eliminated. But His Majesty is very cautious, so cautious that even the handwriting has been changed after being reborn in modern times. Let's guess again, did Ching Ching fall in love with His Majesty first, or did she first see His Majesty's identity? I dreamed that ghosts were chasing me again. From a psychological point of view, it was because of too much pressure in reality, and recently lost my hair like crazy, worrying. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 527. In the circle of evolutionists, fighting is the most common thing. Survival of the fittest. Without the ability to fight, or the protection of a powerful family, casualties are inevitable. In battle, Yin Yongzi is only a little taller than ordinary people. But because of her powerful healing ability, the entire Evolved Alliance is protecting her. Even a family that has enmity with the Yin family will never attack Yin Yongzi. So the only thing that worries the guard is that the Revenge Organization will hurt her, so when he sees the machines that are designed to target the evolutionaries, he will feel like a big enemy. Mrs. Wise, the chief guard, followed behind her. If we save him, it might cause some trouble. Given the current situation of the Yin family, there is no need to create extra problems. Yin Yongzi hummed, "By the way, let's check his identity and see which family he has conflicted with." The head of the guard nodded and asked several guards to take a photo of Xiaoyu. From the beginning to the end, they ignored Xiaoyu. "Quickly walk away." The injury was too serious, and the strength in his body was running wild again. In the end, Xiaoyu couldn't hold on. He fell to the ground, passed out, and his consciousness completely disappeared. At the same time, the Great Xia Empire, Supernatural Administration. Monitor Area. All evolutionaries with unstable power in the Great Xia Empire are monitored here, so that if these evolutionists have energy riots, the inspection team can rush over in time. Did-a-die. The alarm sounded. It is the most central monitoring screen. The chief inspector just took a look, his expression changed wildly, and he blurted out, "No, something happened to the young master." Xiaoyu wears the bracelet Xia Yangkai gave him, which can monitor his current condition. But now the data sent back by the bracelet is real. Xiaoyu's energy has gone berserk, and he is still seriously injured. The chief inspector hurriedly contacted Xia Yangkai. However, at this time, Xia Yangkai was dealing with an emergency that was classified as A-level. The A-level incident was enough to affect hundreds of thousands of people in an entire town. The phone didn't connect. The chief inspector's hands trembled, tried to stabilize, and contacted Yun Fengzi again. This time the call was quickly connected, and he said anxiously, "Sir, something happened to the young master. Have you arrived in the Western continent yet?" Xiaoyu's movie is about to be finished. Yun Fengzi is urged by Xia Yangkaiu to go to Glen to pick Xiaoyu back to China. He had just gotten off the plane, and after receiving a call from the headquarters of the occult administration, his face changed. "Quick, send me the location." After Yun Fengzi got the location, he immediately asked the guards to take him there as quickly as possible. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. The sky had turned white, and the smell of blood in the air had dissipated a bit, but Yun Fengzi could still smell it. He clenched his fingers tightly, walked lightly, and walked according to the location for a while, finally found Xiaoyu in the bushes. The young man was leaning against the tree, his face was pale, and the sound of breathing was almost only the sound of inhaling. There are many injuries on his body, especially the right chest. Even if it is wrapped in bandages, it is not difficult to see that it has been penetrated by a sharp weapon. Some of the blood has dried up, but there are still blood oozing from many wounds. The evolutionary self-healing speed is faster than that of ordinary people, but Xiaoyu was injured too badly. Yun Fengzi closed his eyes, not daring to take a second look. He and Xia Yangkaiu shouldered the responsibility of maintaining the Great Xia Empire and dealing with various supernatural events. They didn't have much time to take care of Xiaoyu, but they would come back to accompany Xiaoyu whenever they had time. Xiaoyu wanted to enter the entertainment circle. He and Xia Yangkaiu said they were not happy, but secretly supported him. Yun Fengzi also knew that Xiaoyu was always proud, and would not tell them about any grievances. "But how can you be so strong? With Xiaoyu's fighting power, it's perfectly fine to retreat from a top evolutionary. What did he encounter?" Yun Fengzi's brain became blank at this moment, and he was a little dazed. The guards who went to carry Xiaoyu also had red eyes, and they were very careful in their movements, for fear of touching his wound and making the situation worse. A team of people arrived at the hospital as quickly as possible. It was the first time for the medical staff to see such a serious injury. What surprised them even more was that Xiaoyu was so injured that his heart was still beating. Yun Fengzi looked at the closed ICU door, and after a long time, he found his voice. "Where's the doctor from the Evolved Alliance? The wounds on the body can be healed, but the energy riot must find a higher level evolutionary." "The doctor will be here soon," the chief guard hurriedly said. "KMRK, the doctor. Now that Xiaoyu looks like this, which doctor can save him?" Xiaoyu's bloodline is very pure, and he has long been selected as the next person in power of the supernatural administration. His energy was violent, neither Yun Fengzi nor Xia Yangkaiu could restrain him. Every time, the S-level elders in the supernatural administration can do it in person. "But where can I find an S-rank evolutionary now?" "I'll go to the Eternal Continent to look for the ghost doctor," Yun Fengzi said with a difficult voice. "If I can't find it..." He didn't dare to say anything later. The captain of the guard pursed his lower lip hard. If he couldn't find it, Xiaoyu would become disabled at the very least, and even worse, he might not be able to wake up and become a vegetable. Eternal Continent, Ghost Valley. Tonight I fucking took time out to visit the Lord of Ghost Valley. Seeing that she was dressed as a loli again, the Lord of Ghost Valley twitched his eyebrows. "Be normal." "What's the matter?" I fucking held up his little skirt. "I think it's very cute, master. I finally came to see you, and you still insult my sense of aesthetics." The Lord of Ghost Valley snorted coldly. "Anyway, I'm used to guarding the empty valley alone, and I can live on my own whether you come or not." "Master, I was wrong. I really came to see you whenever I have time." Fu put his hands together. "Or master, you can develop Yuxi's other hobbies, such as playing chess with other people. 10 vicious NPCs, each with its own viciousness. Although the Lord of Ghost Valley is one of the most famous ones, it doesn't mean that he is the most vicious. On the contrary, Sci-Fi had no intention of conflicting with these powerful NPCs because several other vicious NPCs were already so vicious that players couldn't even pass through their information. There were some NPCs that she hadn't even encountered. "I don't want to play chess with them." The Lord of Ghost Valley handed Sci-Fi a basket. "Go and catch some fish." Sci-Fi. She just knew it. Soon she caught a crate of fish, and the master of Giga skillfully cut open the belly of the fish, took out the internal organs, cleaned them, and began to grill the fish. Sci-Fu tilted his chin and waited. "Someone is looking for you again," the Lord of Ghost Valley said suddenly. "Ah," Sci-Fu narrowed his fox eyes slightly. "Master, how do you know?" She never showed her real face in Eternal. In order to prevent the conflicts in the game from being brought into reality, most players have changed their appearance when logging into the holographic game. The Lord of Ghost Valley knows her real name, but others don't. The Lord of Ghost Valley said slowly, "Because I heard that someone is looking for a ghost doctor." Sci-Fi, that's not looking for me. She didn't want to recognize the title of secondary school at all. The Lord of Ghost Valley looked very satisfied. "Let me see who it is." He raised his hand and stroked it on the water, and a picture emerged. In the picture, two people are talking. Sci-Fi didn't want to pay attention at first, until she saw Yunfengzi's face. Whether it is player level or account star rating, she is much higher than Yunfengzi. So even if Yunfengzi changed his appearance, she could still see his original appearance. Yunfengzi came to seek medical treatment in person. Could it be that something happened to Xia Yangkai or Xia Yu? Next, Yunfengzi's conversation with the guards around him also confirmed Sci-Fi's conjecture. Her eyes changed, and she stood up suddenly. The Lord of Ghost Valley raised his eyebrows, a little surprised. "No." "Yes," Sci-Fi said. "Yes, I'll go out for a while." "You didn't say that because he was good looking, did you?" The Lord of Ghost Valley was deeply suspicious. "You don't want to save everyone." Sci-Fi. She did have this habit before. "Master, I really know him." Sci-Fi was quite convinced. "He can also be regarded as the father of my student and my elder. If I don't know whether I will die or not, will you watch me die?" "Nonsense, Lei Ting," the Lord of Ghost Valley was furious. "I think your skin is itchy." Sci-Fi covered his ears, and ran away quickly. "Master, I'm going to save people first, and I'll come to see you another day." The lingering anger of the owner of Ghost Valley still persisted. "You'd better stop this thought for me quickly. Do you want to piss me off?" "Traitor." The Lord of Ghost Valley took a bite of the grilled fish, opened the wine that Sci-Fi brought him, smelled it, and his expression changed. "For the sake of the wine is not bad, I won't bother with this traitor." Here, Yunfengzi is still asking the surrounding NPCs for news. It was indeed a coincidence that he came here. Not long ago, someone discovered the trace of the ghost hand heavenly doctor. But Yunfengzi didn't have much hope. After all, the ghost-handed doctor is eccentric and mysterious. If you are in a good mood, everyone will be saved. In a bad mood, maybe it is possible to make up for it. The ghost doctor's medical skills are extremely high, and his combat effectiveness and concealment level are also very high. But Yunfengzi had to come. Now Xia Yu's life and death are unknown in the intensive care unit, and the Evolved Alliance can't find a doctor at this time. Apart from the ghost doctor, there is no one else who can save Xia Yu. He can only try his luck to come to the Eternal Continent, and go to a few places where the ghost-handed heavenly doctor often appears to find his traces. Even if it takes his life, he is willing. According to the information given by the NPC, Yunfengzi was about to take the guards to find the way. At this moment, a figure descended from the sky. This is the teleportation array that players will use. "Ghost Doctor." Yunfengzi suddenly raised his head, and when he saw the person coming, his expression suddenly froze. "Ghost Hand Heavenly Doctor is a little girl?" But soon he realized that this was just a fashion appearance in the game. Only game accounts with 4 stars or above can change the appearance at will. But before he knelt down, he heard the person in front of him ask him, "Uncle Yun, where is Xiaoyu? It's another day of self-exploitation, and I'm begging for a ticket every day. Lord of Ghost Valley, traitor. Sci-fucking, rebellious girl. What is a consistent temper? After having everything taken away, she returns as a god." Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 528. Yun Fengzi hadn't recovered from the shock of this Lolita's appearance, but he was shocked by the sentence the next second. He took a sudden step back and lost his voice, you. Although he is the son of the leader of the Spirit League, all the work he does belongs to the underground, and he has not shown up as much as Xia Yangkaiu. Outside of the supernatural administration, few people know him in reality, so how could there be in the Eternal Continent? Yun Fengzi was completely dumbfounded. Si asked again, "Where is it? I don't understand it here, please trust me." It was the guard who reacted in a hurry and reported a location. Si calculated the distance between this place and Bizhu. "Okay, I'll go there right away after 2 hours." She immediately went offline, and in the eyes of Yun Fengzi and several passerby NPCs, she turned into a white light and disappeared. Several passerby NPCs shouted that they had encountered a demigod, and they were so frightened that they knelt down and began to kowtow. Yun Fengzi still had some difficulty recovering. He was dumbfounded. "Did I hear you right? Ghost Hand Heavenly Doctor is coming to find you." The guard nodded vigorously. "You heard me right. So I know the Ghost Doctor." Yunfen pinched himself fatally, to confirm that he was not dreaming. "Hurry up, use all the medicine. Even if you can't call the doctor, you must hold on. They can only believe in the Ghost Doctor, even if he doesn't know who the Ghost Doctor is in reality." The master and servant also quickly went offline. But the Eternal Continent had a lot of people staring at the Ghost Hand Heavenly Doctor. It didn't take long, and with a few clicks, many high-level players gathered in this place. Only the poor passerby NPC kowtowed in fear. "It's a little girl, only 6 years old." The god came down to earth, and she flew away at once. "We didn't see where she went." "It's absolutely true." At this time, in Ghost Valley, the owner of Ghost Valley glanced at the picture in the water curtain while grilling fish. Hearing the conversation of these people, he clicked his tongue. Although it is said that his traitor didn't learn anything else from him, he did get his true inheritance in terms of concealment. If it wasn't for this traitor who took the initiative to show up, no one else would be able to find the ghostly doctor in this life. Outside the ICU, Yun Fengzi kept looking at his watch, sweating profusely. The doctor also issued several critical illness notices, and within a few short hours, Xiaoyu brushed shoulders with death several times. "But it can't last long." The guard couldn't help but said, "Sir, maybe what we met was not a ghostly doctor, but a fake person. Will he deceive us?" "Impossible," Yun Fengzi said decisively. "No one can pretend to be the title of Ghost Hand Doctor." The guard pursed his lips. "If he is late, wouldn't the young master?" The sound of messy footsteps suddenly sounded. Obviously the person who came was walking in a hurry. Yun Fengzi looked up, and when he saw the face of the visitor, he was suddenly stunned, a little incredulous. "Xiao fucking? Why are you here?" Si should be filming in Bizhu right now, and he still plans to wait for Xiaoyu to come back, and then ask Xia Yangkaiu to take a leave of absence to visit the crew of the female general of Zhenguo. It was still raining outside. Si wiped the rain from her face. She didn't have time to explain. "Fortunately, I'm not late, he's inside. I'll change clothes first." In 2 hours, only the Mo family's plane could allow her to reach here successfully. Yun Fengzi opened his mouth. "Inside, you." Before he finished speaking, Si had already entered the preparation room next to him. Soon she changed into clean clothes and went to the operating room. The door was closed again. Yun Fengzi's brain had completely stopped functioning. The same goes for the chief of guard. He raised his head tremblingly, and stammered, "Mr. Sir, so MSSI is." The name Ghost Hand Heavenly Doctor came to his lips, but he couldn't get it out. Yun Fengzi leaned against the wall and took a few deep breaths. "Let me take it easy." A few seconds later, he pinched himself again, but it was not strong enough, so he slapped himself directly on the face. Yun Fengzi felt the pain, and finally came back to his senses. He murmured, "Damn it! Shouldn't the ghost doctor be an old man with a weird temperament? There are rumors in the rivers and lakes, none of them are true. I will never believe it in the future." On the other side, the Kukaki house. The evolutionists who were sent out searched all night, but they couldn't find any trace of Xiaoyu, so they could only return empty-handed. They went to Kukaki Kani to report in fear, but they were reprimanded as expected. Kukaki Kani's eyes were cold. "It's been a day and night, and the machine is also given to you, what about the people?" The young man was speechless, and bit his head and said, "Miss, his combat power is too strong. He dismantled all the machines sent out. He must have been seriously injured and couldn't run far, but when we searched around, we didn't find him." People. Trash. The young Kukaki Kana pulled the guards out. "This little thing can't be done well, what use are you for?" The young man fell to the ground, not daring to be angry or speak. Even the machines were deployed, but they didn't catch him. Kukaki Kani's eyes were full of greed and desire. "His bloodline is really pure. If he can combine with me, he will have a higher bloodline offspring." Kukaki Kana asked again, "Are you sure he was seriously injured?" "Sure." The young man coughed a few times. "The ground is full of blood." Hearing this, Kukaki Kani frowned. She didn't want to hurt Xiaoyu, but Xiaoyu wouldn't accept it, and he didn't want to be with her anyway, so she had no choice but to do so. Xiaoyu is an evolutionary person. She made a move on Xiaoyu. Those rules that restrain ordinary people can't regulate her. "Keep looking," Kukaki Kani said coldly. "Go to the hospital and look for it. You must find him. You can't let him die. If he dies, you haven't finished your work, so don't even think about living." There was fear on the young man's face. He nodded again and again. "Yes, I will definitely not disappoint, miss." After all, Xiaoyu is a public figure. Even though he would accept some tasks on the official website of the Evolved Alliance after the day's filming, he did not hide like other Evolved. Xia Yangkaiu is very supportive of his career in the entertainment industry, because he lives under the eyes of everyone. If evolutionists want to do something to him, they have to weigh the possible impact. But obviously there are still a group of evolutionaries who are used to being arrogant and don't care about other people's lives at all. Xiaoyu's sudden disappearance caused the crew to lose their balance, and news spread on the internet. Up to now, there have been rumors that Xiaoyu was killed. Ah! Don't scare me. Isn't Brother Xia going to be a guest star in The Female General of Zhenguo? If he dares to breach the contract, Mr. Si will definitely beat him. So impossible. The Moose can also try to comfort Xiaoyu's fans. In the midst of panic, Si fucking logged into Weibo. "At V, I'm fine. I was caught going out to play at night, and I'm teaching him a lesson." Moose and Xiaoyu's fans. Why did the script of Wealthy Siblings become mother and son? And these two top-notch film crews are not in the same place at all. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun was shining brightly, and I was in the hospital. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoyu's consciousness gradually returned. Is he all right? And sentience? Xiaoyu wanted to raise his hand, but found that he couldn't move it. He squinted his pretty fox eyes, trying to see where he was. At this moment, a familiar voice sounded above his head, with a cool tone, "Are you awake?" Xiaoyu paused, almost suspecting that he had heard wrong. After a few seconds, he responded slowly, "Teacher Si." The eyes were fully opened, the sight became clear, and the girl's face came into view. Xiaoyu murmured, "It's really you, Teacher Si." "Just wake up." Si fucking looked at him indifferently, "Do you know who is watching you?" Xiaoyu was silent for a while, then hummed, "I just didn't expect them to find such a machine." Before he went abroad, Xia Yangkai gave science popularization about this kind of fighting robot specially developed to deal with evolution. The name of the robot is Zhan Shen. A name that is very secondary in Si fucking's opinion, but it can indeed cause great harm to S-level evolutionists. Because these robots can easily detect the evolutionary ability and evolution type of the evolutionary, so as to find their weaknesses and kill them one by one. In addition to the Intercontinental Research Institute, the Revenge Organization also possesses this advanced technology. Yes, you should be glad that what you met was only a defective product. Si fucking said coldly, "If what you met was the complete version, you wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to me now." Xiaoyu was startled. The longest time he and Si fucking got along was in the training camp of Youth and Boy. After that, they met less frequently, but they never stopped communicating on the internet. In my impression, no matter how many mistakes the students make, she will not be fierce, and she still teaches patiently with a smile. Being so fierce suddenly, Xiaoyu's heart really stopped beating for a few seconds. He paused, and said tactfully, "Mr. Si, don't attack me. You are fierce." Si fucking's eyes were indifferent. "If you were not lying on the bed, I would beat you into a third-class cripple. Do you believe it?" "Xiaoyu, I believe it." "Okay, stop talking nonsense." Si fucking asked, "Who did it? Don't tell me you don't even know the enemy." Xiaoyu fell silent again. "Teacher Si, I don't want to involve you, the other party." Before he could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by the chief guard standing at the door. "Sir, I found out, it's Miss Six of the Cookaki family. She seems to have been pursuing the young master for the past few months, but the young master didn't agree." Yun Fengzi immediately looked at Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu smiled at him, lazily, "Look, it's all you. Why do you have such a good-looking face, and let me inherit it?" Yun Fengzi was extremely angry. "Stinky boy, you know who you are more like." "When is it? I am still in the mood to tease him." "Well, I see, Miss Six of the Cookaki family, right?" Si fucking read out a name slowly, "Connie Cookaki. Speaking of which, the name Zhangzheyu is taken from Spring River Flower and Moonlight Night QWQ, just to prove that I am not named useless. The poem is named Forever Dropping God. I have to prepare for a very important exam in the past few months, and my hair is really falling out. 5555. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 529. As early as when he decided to return to the Yin family, Si fucking once again invaded the information database of the Evolutionary Alliance and retrieved all the evolutionaries of A-level and above bloodlines from large and small families. If you know your enemy and yourself, you can fight 100 battles without danger. She has a photographic memory. Although Cookaki Kaneda was only an insignificant one among thousands of A-level evolvers, she remembered it after taking a glance. The Cookaki family has a population of several thousand, and direct descendants alone account for 1/3. The purity of Cookaki Connie's bloodline is not very outstanding among direct descendants. She is A-level, but because her ability as an evolver is not outstanding, her status is extremely marginalized in the Cookaki family. But the Cookaki family is, after all, one of the 3 evolutionary families, with a very deep foundation and wide connections. Therefore, Cookaki Kaneda was able to obtain the defective god-slaying machine. Xiaoyu's eyebrows raised. Sorry, teacher Si, I really don't know her name or family. Yun Fengzi's pupils shrank slightly. The Kukaki family, this is terrible. The main location of the Supernatural Administration's activities is in Daxia, but it also has direct affairs with the Alliance of Evolvers and the three major Evolver families. There are 5 dragon veins guarding Daxia, and not everyone can step into it. As long as it is not a supernatural event that threatens the 5 states of Daxia, the Supernatural Management Bureau will never take care of it. The Evolutionary Alliance and the 3 major families are also willing to sell the Supernatural Administration's reputation. But Xiaoyu was injured in the Western continent, a place beyond the control of the Supernatural Management Bureau. More importantly, they did not have enough manpower to face the Kukaki family. Xiaoyu still looked lazy and casual. I don't have anything to do, just treat it as training. Experience, Si fucking hummed, with a faint look on his face, then you are really amazing. This is the first time I've ever seen an experience and you want to train yourself to death. Xiaoyu was completely convinced. He chose not to speak and just asked Yun Fengzi with his eyes. Yun Fengzi frowned and disagreed very much. You are really worrying this time. If Xiao fucking hadn't come to save you, you would have died, you know. He was glad that he entered eternity to find the heavenly doctor with ghost hands, who happened to be Si fucking. Otherwise, it is still unknown when Xiaoyu will wake up. Yes, Master, the guard chief also said, the only person in the world who can save you is Miss Si. Xiaoyu was truly shocked. His pupils shrank suddenly. Heavenly doctor with ghost hands. Be honest, Si fucking peeled an apple for himself. His fox eyes crinkled and he smiled. I can snatch you back from the hands of the king of hell, or I can send you to see the king of hell immediately. What do you want to choose? Xiaoyu. He always thought his mother was a violent person, so he had to hide from time to time. Now I find that teacher Si is actually even better. He doesn't even have a chance to hide. Xiaoyu sighed. Once again he stood up and failed. After Si fucking finished eating the apple, he walked outside the ward and made a phone call. Well, yes, I need a single villa, right now. On the other side, the Yin family. Yesterday, Yin Yongzi arrived at the Evolutionary Alliance headquarters, but he did not ask anything about the new drug, and the Evolutionary Alliance laboratory also kept silent about it. She returned empty-handed, but she became more wary of Yin Yaonian. Miss, according to our investigation, this should be the identity of the young man last night. The head guard handed over a document. His name is Xiaoyu. He is a star. It is conservatively estimated that the lowest bloodline is A level. Kukaki Kani, the 6th young lady of the Kukaki family, is very interested in him. She was the one who sent out the god of war machine yesterday. Yin Yongzi frowned. Just a star? Not affiliated with any family? Yes, the head guard nodded. There are still some families. The Xie family in Siju City, an ordinary secular family, cannot catch the eyes of the eldest lady. Yin Yongzi knocked on the table and finally remembered who Xiaoyu was somewhat similar to. Si fucking. They are all evolvers, but they want to be in the entertainment industry. The people we offended were the Kukaki family. There is really no need to save them. They are probably dead now. Yin Yongzi shook his head and put the information aside. Yesterday, there was news that the ghost hand heavenly doctor was a 6-year-old child. Girl, this news is not very credible, but she must have appeared. You go to the mainland of eternity and look for it. The head guard responded, yes, miss. Yin Yongzi didn't have much hope in her heart. Even the young leader Chris had not been found, so she could only try her luck. The news about Xiaoyu was released by Si fucking on his own initiative, which gave fans reassurance. But at the same time, the evolvers under Kukaki Kanada also obtained the exact location of Xiaoyu. The young man clicked his tongue and said, he is lucky enough to be able to resist. With such a strong body, No wonder the young lady likes it. I guess he won't be able to resist for long. Let's go there now, another person said. He is so seriously injured that ordinary doctors can't save him. The young man nodded. Kukaki Kani did not give them any more opportunities. They had to take Xiaoyu back to the Kukaki family. The 6 evolvers followed the located address and came to a villa. The young man did not step forward rashly, but glanced around first, and then checked the detector on his mobile phone. This detector app was also invented by the Intercontinental Research Institute and can detect evolvers and their levels within a radius of 100 meters. Now there is only one Class A and 2 Class B appearing on the screen. These 2B levels must be Xiaoyu's family members. There are no other advanced evolvers. The young man waved. Let's go in. 6 people immediately rushed into the villa and quickly controlled all exits. The young man clapped his hands and smiled slightly. Mr. What a loud tone. I fucking turned around and said in a calm voice, it took me so long to find him. It's so slow. The young man's body suddenly froze, and before he could understand the meaning of the sentence, he heard another sentence. Kukaki Kani didn't come in person? Okay, I'll take care of you, and I'll take care of her later. Seeing Si fucking standing up, the young man was shocked and angry. Who are you? What crazy talk are you talking about? The other 5 evolvers also looked over, with doubts in their eyes. But Si fucking didn't give him a chance to speak. At this moment, she did not restrain her power of evolution, and her aura completely exploded at this moment. The absolute suppression from their bloodline caused all 6 evolvers to kneel on the ground. The young man was under the greatest pressure. He heard the sound of bones breaking and bent over in pain. But he couldn't get up. Si fucking stepped on his back and asked Xiaoyu, recognize them, are they these people? Xiaoyu narrowed his eyes, it's them. Very good. Si fucking knelt down and smiled slightly, I wish it was you. I won't hurt innocent people. You are brave, the young man glared angrily. If you offend the Kukaki family, even if you are a high-level evolver, you will be dead. Even for some of the weaker members of the big family, other evolvers are unwilling to deliberately target them, because these members not only represent themselves, but also have powerful families behind them. Really, Si fucking didn't have any special reaction. She picked up a steel bar and weighed it in her palm. Although it's not as hard as a machine, it's still enough. Let's try it. Just like the god-slaying machine treated Xiaoyu at that time, the young man's chest was instantly penetrated. Unprecedented severe pain swept through his body, and blood gurgled down. The young man let out a heart-rending scream with heart-piercing pain. Si fucking didn't stop, picked up a short knife again, and measured the young man's physical data. She began to slowly copy Xiaoyu's injuries on the young man one by one. Do you know what I'm thinking? Si fucking looked at him. I'm thinking it's a good thing it's from the Kukaki family, so it's easier for me to use my hands. The young man's pupils suddenly dilated, and he couldn't understand the meaning of the sentence for the first time. You. As soon as he opened his mouth, blood continued to flow down the corners of his mouth. At this moment, there was a sound of footsteps, and someone else arrived at the villa. The woman was carrying a long sword on her back, her face was expressionless, and even her eyebrows were frosty. Miss, the young man was stunned at first, and then became ecstatic. Miss, save me quickly. This person wants to kill me, and she also wants to kill Miss Sixth. She is provoking the authority of the Kukaki family. Miss. It was true that he served Kukaki Kanada, but Kukaki Minjutsu had absolute ruling authority among the younger generation of the Kukaki family. Yun Fengzi's expression changed instantly. Of course he had heard of Kukaki Minjio's name. S-class evolver. Or Onmyoji. Onmyoji has always been weak, but the power of the evolver makes up for this shortcoming very well. Therefore, in terms of comprehensive combat power, Kukaki Minjio is definitely the strongest among the younger generation of the three evolutionary families. Yun Fengzi never expected that Kukaki Minjio would come looking for him. Xiao fucking, take AU with you. Yun Fengzi's voice was urgent. I'll hold you back, hurry up, leave me alone, hurry up. Even though he didn't know at all whether he could withstand one attack from Kukaki Minjio, he still stood in front of Sci fucking and Xiaoyu without hesitation. Seeing this scene, the young man laughed wildly. I told you a long time ago that you are finished. You are not the one who can offend our Kukaki family. This person is very capable. If Kukaki Kaneda comes, maybe they will all have to answer here today. But the one who came was Kukaki Minjio. A genius that the Kukaki family rarely produces in a century. These people are dead. Miss, he can't die, the young man said hurriedly. Miss has taken a liking to him and wants to. Before the young man finished speaking, his voice stopped abruptly. At the same time, his feet slowly left the ground, and the air he could breathe gradually decreased. Kukaki Minjio's eyes were indifferent and without warmth, looking for death. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 530. The woman's eyes were calm and calm, her tone of voice had no fluctuations, and there was no expression on her face. But it gives people an extremely terrifying feeling. The young man was covered in blood, and the pain paralyzed his brain. His thoughts were completely unable to turn around, but his body's reaction was immediate. In an instant, his whole body was so cold that even his blood ran cold. How is this going? Although his surname is not Kukaki, he is also the guard of the Kukaki family. Why did Kukaki Minjio turn around and attack him? The young man's brain was buzzing and his whole person was sluggish. There was silence in the villa. The guards from the supernatural administration failed to recover at all. Yun Fengzi was also dumbfounded. After a while, he started to pinch himself again, and then slapped himself again. Dad, you are too light. Seeing this, Xiaoyu used his only movable hand to hand over a steel bar thoughtfully, and said euphemistically and gently, use this and poke it to ensure that you wake up quickly. When the time comes, you can still show off in front of Xia and enhance the relationship between you and your husband. She likes to see you hurt and cry the most. Yun Fengzi was not awakened by the pain, but was angered by Xiaoyu. He was furious. Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu became weak in a second, and his handsome face turned pale. Dad, you scared me. If Xia saw how fierce you were, she might have taken over the mission again and left you alone in the empty room. Yun Fengzi was so angry that his fingers were trembling. You kid, okay, just wait for me. Why didn't he realize that this brat turned out to be a scheming Black Lotus man? When Xiaoyu recovers from his injury, he will let this boy know why the flowers are so red. Xiaoyu coughed a few more times, then obediently stopped talking and closed his eyes to rest. But his brain never stopped thinking. The first moment Kukaki Minjio appeared, he had already guessed that it was not the evolvers of the Kukaki family who had moved reinforcements, but Mr. Si who called the netizens. Xiaoyu sighed. Until now, it is a mystery how many netizens Mr. Si has. The extreme lack of oxygen made the young man's brain wake up at this moment. His eyes suddenly widened, and his face was full of disbelief. Miss, no. He suddenly realized that in the eyes of Kukaki Minjio, he was already a dead person. Kukaki Minjio has always been a man of few words. She never talks when she can do things. Her temper is not even close to gentle. Everyone in the Kukaki family understands her character. In addition to the lack of parents, this personality seems to be related to her ability as an evolver. In short, even the ancestors of the Kukaki family doted on her. Among his peers, no one dared to confront Kukaki Minjio. Kukaki Kani was used to being arrogant outside, but when she came home and faced Kukaki Akage, she had to respectfully call her Miss. The young man still hasn't figured out how he offended Kukaki Minjio. He opened his mouth and struggled to speak, "Miss, I am Miss Fengliu." Kukaki Minjio didn't even wait for him to finish speaking and moved directly. Boom. With a sound, the heavy object fell to the ground. The 5 remaining evolvers were so frightened that they began to beg for mercy crazily, "Miss, please forgive me, miss, please forgive me." Si calmed down, she felt a little regretful, "You are too rough, you should play more." Hearing these words, Kukaki Minjio hesitated for a moment, and finally said, "They don't have fun games." Si raised his eyebrows, "Did you play the profession of witch in Oracle? I didn't expect you to be a royal sister with a Lolita heart." Kukaki Minjio gave her a cold look. "Don't be angry," Si said lazily, "what's wrong with Loli? I like Loli too. It's a pity that her identity was exposed in the Eternal Continent yesterday, and the appearance of a 6-year-old girl can no longer be used." The conversation between the two people, as if no one was watching, had completely scared the 5 living evolutionaries crazy. Not even the head of the Kukaki family dared to talk to Kukaki Minjio like this. Who is this girl? How dare she? What frightened them even more was that Kukaki Minjio not only did not show any dissatisfaction, but actually started chatting. When did the world of evolvers have so many people who would make even Kukaki Minjio give in? The 5 evolvers were desperate. The rules of the circle of evolvers are to speak with strength. Even if their fists are not strong enough, the Kukaki family still stands behind them. But the appearance of Kukaki Minjio made them realize that there are really people who are not afraid of the Kukaki family. Kukaki Minjio turned around expressionlessly and glanced at the 5 evolvers lying on the ground. The level of these evolvers is all B level. If you catch a lot of them in the Kukaki family, it doesn't matter if they lose them. Kukaki Minjio has never managed the affairs of the family. She has been busy practicing. If it weren't for Si, she really wouldn't have known that someone was using the name of the Kukaki family to exert power outside. It's time to clean up the door. Soon, the villa returned to silence. The guards were stunned for a long time and began to clean up the ground in a daze. "Let me introduce you, this is Uncle Yoon." Si put his hand on Kukaki Minjio's shoulder, "This is my student. I taught him singing and dancing." Kukaki Minjio still had no expression. "Hello, uncle." Yoon Fengzi was so frightened that he staggered. He quickly held onto the table and said, "Okay, okay." He fled here on the pretext of cooking for Xiaoyu. After arriving in the kitchen, Yoon Fengzi took out his mobile phone and called Xia Yangqiu, "Honey, my worldview is shattered." Xia Yangqiu frowned, "Don't make me miserable. The task at hand is over. Come over immediately. If anything happens to you, brat, I will ask you." Yoon Fengzi. He ended the call and made a serious note to Xiaoyu in his heart. At the same time, the Kukaki family. Kukaki Kaneda was having dinner. "Miss Sixth, something happened." A middle-aged man hurriedly walked over, sweating profusely, and said anxiously, "Daxiang and the others are dead, and their information has been deleted from the Evolutionary Alliance's information database." Kukaki Kani's eyes instantly became sinister and terrifying. "Which family? Who dares to touch my people? Don't you know her last name is Kukaki?" The middle-aged man wiped his sweat and said, "I don't know yet, we are still locating it." "Check it for me immediately." Kukaki Kani sneered, "You are touching me. I don't know how high the sky is." Soon, a guard came forward and said, "Miss Sixth, we found out that Daxiang and the others disappeared in the villa where Xiaoyu was staying." Kukaki Kani frowned, "Does he have helpers? Otherwise, how could Xiaoyu kill her people if he was injured like that?" She thought for a moment and made a quick decision, "Let's go, I'll go there myself." In the end, she still had to take action herself. The way to the villa went smoothly. Kukaki Kaneda was used to acting in a rough manner. He didn't even use the detector and went straight into the villa. Xiaoyu leaned on the sofa, looking weak. This look aroused Kukaki Kani's desire even more. Thank you, I don't want to talk too much nonsense, and you don't want to hear it either, Kukaki Kani said calmly. You were lucky enough to survive this time, but you won't have such good luck next time. But if you follow me, I will share half of the resources with you. If you and I give birth to an S-class offspring, the Kukaki family will immediately elevate my status. Forget it, I don't care if you want it or not. You must come with me today. Kukaki Kanada couldn't help but step forward. Xiaoyu decisively chose to lie down and coughed. Teacher Si, she wants to rape me. Kukaki Kanada's expression changed. Who? No matter how bad she was still an A-level evolver. How could she not even notice that there was a second person here? Si fucking slowly walked out from behind the stairs, robbing men in broad daylight, and you don't even have the right to do so. Kukaki Kani narrowed her eyes. Is it you? Are you the one? Because he wanted to thank this person, Kukaki Kani paid more attention to the entertainment industry. She remembered that Si fucking was also a star. It turns out that he is another evolver hidden in the entertainment industry. It escaped her perception, so what? Kukaki Kani looked contemptuous. Why, you want to go against me, you know my last name, right? Can you afford to offend the Kukaki family? I don't want to do anything to you, be sensible, you'd better get out of here. What a coincidence, your men also talk to me like this, but it's a pity that they can't speak now. Si fucking crossed his arms and raised his eyebrows. Miss Minjio, there are people who like to rush to see the King of Hell so much. How about helping you clean up the door? At this time, the second person hidden in the darkness appeared in front of Kukaki Kani. The familiar face made Kukaki Kani's body stiffen. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Kukaki Akira. Kukaki Minjio said concisely, it's up to you, I have an appointment with Yuan Mingqi to play games, please hurry up. She still has a few copies that haven't come through. Why are 3D games so difficult to play? Kukaki Kanada's brain completely stopped thinking and became blank. Kukaki Minjio, who has a character that avoids strangers, is actually good friends with Si fucking. The worlds they live in clearly have nothing to do with each other. No problem, it will be solved soon. Si fucking hummed and said, thank you, come here. Xiaoyu opened his eyes, still looking weak. Teacher Si, I. Stop talking nonsense, I know your injuries better than you do. Xiaoyu. He sighed, stood up under Yun Fengzi's shocked eyes, pulled off a few bandages, and walked to Si fucking. Yun Fengzi was so angry that his heart ached again. This guy is still pretending. He was really wrong about him. I told my brother something. You are my student, and I will tell you too. Si fucking looked calm. If you are wronged, tell me whoever bullies you, and I will help you bully him back. Do you understand? I'm holding her down for you. If she hurts you, just do it back. Do it. Among the three major evolutionary families, there is no one she can't afford to offend. One day in the future, Brother Xie discovered that he was actually his elder brother. Thanks, smiley face, credit, family brotherhood. Ching ching, family throne. See you tomorrow.